Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Bollé Halo React MIPS cycling helmet. Bollé's Eco React helmet lineup is a commuter lineup of helmets that combine safety with sustainability. As the name implies, the new Halo React MIPS helmet that we have here is the top of the line product in that lineup that combines LED lights with that same sustainable approach. You can see packaging is very simple, black cardboard box, Bollé branding on it. You have a nice cutout here, so if you see this on a shelf, you can actually interact with the helmet. And you can see we have the titanium version and the medium size. I'll go ahead and take it out of the box and go over the specs. So retail price on this is $260, so quite expensive for a commuter helmet. You get their eco-friendly construction, so that means 100% recycled fabric. You get water-based printing on here, as well as cork integrated into the EPS foam, and that's what gives these little flecks in there. It has integrated in front and rear LEDs, which is really cool, with the front ones almost invisible, and then the rear ones on the back. You have a full 360-degree retention system, so nice dial, wrap around cradle, so very comfortable. You get a magnetic Fidlock buckle, so you just place it near it, and then it locks into place. And then you get a replaceable or removable fabric brim, so that protects you from the sun and gives you that commuter style. In terms of what comes with the helmet, obviously you get the helmet itself. It's USB rechargeable. And then inside the packaging, you get a replaceable foam padding for the front. So if you didn't want to run the brim, you can just pull it off and then swap it out for the other one. And then a micro USB charging cable for charging the LEDs. Now let's take a look at the weight of the helmet. We have the medium version for the North America market. So it's usually a little bit heavier than other markets. That comes in at 368, so surprisingly light considering you have integrated LEDs. Visually, the Halo React has a very sleek commuter style that combines a lot of ventilation with commuter specific features. You can see that commuter profile that comes down a little bit further on your rear, and then the fabric bill that protects you from the sun, as well as a lot of large vents here. You don't typically see this much ventilation with a commuter helmet. Usually it's more like a skate helmet with one or two, but with this it looks more like a road bike. And the coolest thing about this helmet is the fact that you do have the integrated LEDs. On the front, it's invisible, unlike a lot of other helmets where it's really obvious. This one looks great, so whether you're riding in day or night, it's still a good looking helmet. The rear LED is a lot more obvious. You can see, just looks like it blocks the event, but it's not removable. There's two colors with this helmet. We have the titanium version, and you can see very sleek looking. Has almost like a metal-like finish with a little bit of a texture to it. With the LEDs, one of the best features is the fact that the front is so hidden. So here with it on, you can see it's two strips that run down the front. And they're actually pretty bright, not enough to really see, but it's more of a be seen light. So if you're riding in low visibility or the city, it's a nice way to make sure you're actually visible. You can see the rear is also really nice. It's wide enough that you can see it from the side, so it curves a little forward. And you have a couple output modes. So you have constant on back and front. Press it again. You can go to flashing, so flash on both front and rear. It's good if you want extra visibility. And then they also have a hybrid flash mode where the front is constant and then the rear is flashing. And it's actually pretty good looking. Even the rear has a nice strip. And then again, press it again to turn it off. Charging requires you just to pull up the rubber of the button, and they'll have a little charging port right underneath. It's not a USB Type-C, just a standard micro USB. Otherwise, very sleek helmet. You can see, considering the price point, it looks like a single piece shell. There's a lot of nice sharp creases here, and you can see the edges between the foam and then that outer shell are also really nice and crisp. On cheaper helmets, this is usually where you'd see kind of curvy edges or sloppiness. The rim is also fully finished with this separate color. So you can see it's a black color, comes all the way down and makes it look really good so you don't have exposed foam on the sides. The foam that you do see, you'll notice has a tan flecks in there. So this is actually the cork EPS. So pretty cool. So to make it more sustainable, they combine cork with the foam. You have fully recycled, 100% recycled fabric used for the rest of the material. So with the padding and then the straps. The retention system is a standard rotational design. So you have a little dial on here to loosen and tighten. You have the up and down adjustments. You go underneath here and you can adjust that. And then nice simple adjustments on the edges too. You have this large chin strap as well. So fake leather, but looks really premium. And then that Fidlock magnetic buckle. So with this, the motion's a little bit opposite of a standard plastic buckle, which would kind of be parallel to the straps. This one you go perpendicular, pull it off, and then when you get close, you put it back on. On the inside of the helmet, you have the MIPS liner really well integrated. So you can see it's almost invisible here. It's hidden behind everything else. And then you can see that it provides a little bit of rotation for additional safety if you were to crash. The foam here is also really nicely made. So you can see nice and soft, and it's Velcro. So you can remove it to wash it. And they provide two versions of the front. So one with the bill already installed, and then you can remove this to run it without it if you prefer to ride without that. Now let's take a look at the Halo React on the road. Here we have it paired with the Smith Boomtown sunglasses, and you can see it's a really nice match. The helmet itself in the titanium finish looks great, and it's fully finished all the way around the rim, so it has a nice premium look. What I really like about the React helmet is that it blends a lot of the commuter features you want, like the extended rear protection, the integrated LEDs, and the fabric brim with the lots of ventilation that you would expect from a road cycling helmet. So it's a great helmet if you do short or long rides that you can get a lot of versatility out of. It's quite comfortable as well, easily adjustable rear dial, and the medium size fits just as well as all the other helmets we've reviewed on the channel. In terms of the LED light, that's a really cool feature. The rear is a nice cob LED. Bollé doesn't publish any of the lumen numbers or run time, but you can see there's a solid mode and then there's a full flash mode. Obviously the flash modes are going to give you more runtime, and they're quite visible. They're not daytime visible, so you still want to use a traditional tail light or headlight during the day, but at night they add a little bit of extra visibility, and that cob rear is really nice. The last mode is a sort of hybrid mode, and you can see it's rear flashing, front constant. In terms of the brightness, you can see that rear taillight's really wide, so helps you be seen, and it's really high up, while the front LED isn't quite as bright, so you still need a headlight, but it adds a little extra visibility, which is nice to have. Now let's compare the Halo React with other helmets on the market. We actually have the other Eco React helmet from Bollé. So you can see the standard Eco React MIPS on the right, and then the Halo on the left. You can see very similar design. The big difference being the LED integration with the Halo. You can see the Eco React, they both have the cork material, with this one being a little more fully finished with the bottom rim. Similar fit systems. This one's just a little bit of lighter color. But again, you don't have the taillight. So you can see the taillight's integrated, and then the headlight's actually carved into it. You also get the Fidlock with the Halo React versus the Eco React going with just a standard plastic buckle. Other commuter helmets on the market are like this Bern Hudson. So you can see in white, it looks a little bit sleeker. You have the taillight add-on. So it's a little bit of a weird one where you have to hold it or double press to turn it on. So not nearly as bright or as well integrated as the Halo React. So you can see much smoother with that integrated LED versus just the little transmitters surface mounted. Very similar profile. So with the commuter helmets, they kind of extend down a little bit further. The Bern Hudson has this little hole here for a lock. So you can put a lock through here where the Bollé doesn't, but it's not really a feature I imagine a lot of people are going to use. The other thing is with the Hudson, it is the higher speed rated, so it's an e-bike approved helmet, while the Halo React is just the standard crash resistance. On the insides, you have the fabric bill, but you can see the MIPS line in here is much larger and not nearly as much ventilation with the Hudson, where the Bollé looks more like a road bike helmet. Speaking of road bike helmets, we have the Smith Trace here. So you can see a little bit sleeker. The tail is not quite as long, and you have more of an aerodynamic profile. With this one, we have the Get Wild color scheme, so it looks pretty crazy. But you can see a lot of vents, and that's what's really nice about the Bollé Eco series. So tons of vents here, so you're not going to be overheating even though you're riding a commuter bike. Insides, again, very similar with all these helmets. You have the wraparound retention system. The Trace does not have the Fidlock, but you can get road bike helmets with it. And you can see the MIPS liner here, it's a little bit more obvious, while the Bolle is well integrated with that all black color. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Halo React helmet. What I like about it is that it's an eco-friendly construction. It's always nice to see companies use more sustainable methods and construction when creating cycling accessories. We also like that the front LEDs are directly integrated into the helmet, so they're completely invisible during the day, unlike a lot of the Lumos or other helmets on the market. So you don't even see them until nighttime. It's also a very well ventilated helmet, so it's something you can easily wear on long weekend rides or even club rides. So this is a helmet you can use for quite a bit of different riding styles. Some of the cons for the helmet is that it is quite expensive. At $260, this is definitely on the high end. And there's a limited color selection with the only white and the titanium version currently. Also, the power button lacks tactile feel. It's very small, and you really have to press it right at the top, so it can be hard to use, especially when you have gloves. Taking everything into account, we'd give the Halo React a 9.1 out of 10. It's a nice, sleek commuter helmet. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.